Puffy's place was like just filled with chicks and orgying like nonstop, right?
No, not really. But hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you seeing?
I went there to see the lifestyle,
right?
And I saw it, and it was, but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even.
Guys, Usher is finally breaking his silence, and the stuff he is unleashing is dark, disturbing, and could shake the entire industry to its core. If you thought the Diddy saga was already insane, brace yourself, because what Usher is stepping forward with allegedly traces back to when he was just a kid, and now he is dragging Justin Bieber's name into the flames too. This isn't just old tea, it's evidence, trauma, and a whole lot of dirt people in power don't want aired. So without wasting time, let's dive straight into this mess. Most of you probably already know, Usher blew up crazy young. We are talking 13, maybe 14. Signed to LA Reid and thrown straight into the deep end of the music industry before he even knew what taxes were. And just when his life should have been full of studio time and safety, LA Reid sent him right into the lion's den, literally moved him into Diddy's house. That's right, Puffy's house. Back when Diddy was the king of chaos, freaky parties, and zero boundaries.
I moved to New York City, and I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
That's the crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you over to something called Puffy Flavor.
But let's rewind to where all this madness really started. Back when Usher was just a kid with big dreams and raw talent. Insiders say he wasn't sent to Diddy for mentorship. Nah, he got dropped into a grown man world no 13-year-old should have even seen. And Usher, he has hinted at it for years. In one old interview, he said he saw some things. The way he said it, you could hear it in his voice, like he wanted to tell the truth but knew he couldn't. Now here's the craziest part of all this. It is being reported that Usher ended up in the hospital after something went down inside Diddy's apartment. Yeah, that part. Word on the street is, Diddy did something so vile to Usher that it left him bleeding and broken. And the fact that this has been whispered about for years with no justice, that alone should make your stomach turn. And it gets worse. Usher didn't just go through it alone. He was allegedly silenced with NDAs, payouts, and straight-up threats. He kept his head down and played the game. But now that the Diddy trial is finally cracking wide open, Usher is done staying quiet. Sources say he may have voice notes, call recordings, and even video footage dating all the way back to 2004. He has been collecting the mess for 2 decades. And before I forget, guys, this isn't just about Usher's trauma. It's about the entire machine that made it possible. The industry that kept giving Diddy awards while turning its back on the ones he damaged. And y'all, Usher might have been the first teen Diddy brought into that world, but he definitely wasn't the last. But here is where the whole thing takes a chilling turn. Usher didn't just walk away from the darkness. He brought Justin Bieber right into it. He introduced him to the same circle, the same machine that nearly broke him. And now people are wondering if history repeated itself. And get this, Usher didn't just co-sign Justin. He handed him over to L.A. Reid as a gift. That's what Reid himself said in an interview. But the handoff didn't stop there. Diddy somehow ended up with temporary guardianship of Justin shortly after. Yup, the same Diddy accused of sending Usher to the ER. The same Diddy with secret tapes, sealed court docs, and a growing list of disturbing allegations. The same man whose name keeps getting dragged back into every dark corner of this industry. So we all know Justin was just 13 or 14 back then, just like Usher was. And if you have seen the old clips, you know what I'm talking about. Diddy bragging about having Justin with him for 48 hours, saying it was a 15-year-old's dream, talking about going out to get girls, not even trying to hide it, saying he had custody of him even though he didn't, legally. But apparently for those 2 days, Diddy called the shots.
Where we hanging out and what we doing, we can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. He signed to Usher.
I'm signed to Usher.
I had legal guardianship of Usher when you know he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours.
Anyways, now on to the next chapter of this wild story. The clips of Diddy and Justin together, they didn't age well. There is one where Diddy low-key scolds Justin for not hanging out with him anymore. Then he weirdly brings up how they used to spend time together, and you can tell Justin is uncomfortable.
Man, you good?
I'm good. How are you?
All right, young brother, everything's good?
Everything's
Selling
great.
out arenas and everything? Starting to act different, huh?
You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
Well, I mean, you try to get in contact with me, through all my, partners and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But you never really got my number, so.
Right. Okay.
My number?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you my number.
Yeah.
So how am I supposed to go on with my day without talking or even mentioning the fact that Usher basically fed Bieber into the same machine that nearly broke him? And now people are starting to call him out, deadass. There are comments saying Usher might have been a victim once, but he turned into an enabler real quick.
Heard the video, and Perry says, "Are you crazy? You better get down there and meet this kid right now. He's amazing."
When all these dick pics come out and all this stuff with Bieber's big penis, are you the mastermind behind that? Say, listen, show off your big penis and people will come to those concerts? Or are you sitting there?
On top of all that, let's not forget what happened at that dinner. Reports say Usher, Neo, Jimmy Iovine, and Cassie were all sitting at the same table. Diddy allegedly punched Cassie in the stomach right there in front of them. And what did they do? Nothing. Not a word. Not a sound. And that silence? It speaks volumes. That's not just fear, that's deep control. And to make this even worse, Usher has kids now, a daughter. So seeing him sit silent while that kind of thing went down, it shows how far the manipulation ran. How these artists got trained to keep quiet even when everything in them should have been screaming.
Life.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
14 years old. You're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to Puffy camp?
Hell no.
But now, Usher is finally cracking. Maybe it's the guilt, maybe it's survival, but whatever it is, the mask is slipping, and it's bringing everything else with it. The deeper we go, the messier it gets. Usher's silence for all those years, that didn't just protect himself, it gave cover to the whole system. He kept performing, kept collecting Grammys, and acted like nothing ever happened. But in the background, he was another pawn in Diddy's empire, a pawn who eventually helped keep the cycle going. And here's the craziest part of all this. Some fans are saying Usher has to speak up now, or he is going down with Diddy. That silence doesn't protect him anymore. Not when Bieber's name is being dragged into this. Not when people are putting two and two together.
President Bieber.
Yeah.
Yo, what's up? Like, I'm calling you and answering.
Yeah, that was low.
That was weird.
That was crazy.
That was weird.
They did not run through Bieber.
They was pressing him like, why you not answering your phone? Like, yo.
He wasn't answering for a reason.
Because you did things to me. Everybody didn't know this.
Yeah.
So they're blackmailing with like a booty.
Kinda like.
What was he doing with their booty?
Come on, how can we forget about how broken Justin Bieber looked in recent years? He has been spiraling, withdrawing, and struggling with trust. Now it makes sense. The weight of it all, the trauma, the secrets, it has been eating him alive. And if Usher really does care about Bieber, the least he can do is clear the air. Tell the full truth. No more hints. No more cryptic interviews. But to be fair, Justin has spoken up recently. He straight up denied being groomed by Diddy. In a new statement, Justin said he was never a victim and that the focus should stay on those who were genuinely harmed. He said, and I quote, "Although Justin is not among Sean Combs' victims, there are individuals who were genuinely harmed by him. Shifting focus away from this reality detracts from the justice these victims rightfully deserve." So guys, here's where things get tricky. Even though Justin is denying it, there are still heavy claims floating around. Claims that didn't just come from nobodies, they came from Suge Knight himself. In a prison interview, Suge said Diddy groomed Justin and even had adult men taking him on romantic vacations. And he didn't stop there. Suge went all the way in saying, "Everybody knows what Puffy did. There is not one person that didn't know that Puffy was King Usher." Then he added, "It was the saddest thing in the world what they did to Justin Bieber. They had sex with him." I hate to say that because I really like Justin Bieber. I feel bad for Justin Bieber. He didn't hold back either when he said, he could have been bigger than Michael Jackson, but the question of the drugs and the stuff, what Diddy allowed these grown men to do to this little boy was unhealthy and fed up. And one of the most disturbing claims, Suge said, he had grown men would take Justin Bieber when he was young to a romantic vacation, showing pictures on Instagram with no women, nobody else but grown, successful men, and this little kid. Not only is it a bad look, it's sad. Now, whether Justin is protecting himself, protecting someone else, or really telling the truth, only time will tell. But one thing is clear. The stories about what happened to Justin are widespread, and some of them come from people who used to be inside Diddy's world, close to his business, and close to the secrets. As you have noticed, everything in this story keeps circling back to one thing: power. Diddy used power to control, manipulate, and silence everyone around him. And Usher, he was one of the first pieces in that puzzle. Deadass. This is bigger than music. It's a whole system built on silence, fear, and control. but with Usher breaking his silence, if he truly goes all the way, it might just blow the lid off everything. So if you are still tuned in, you already know this is just the beginning. Diddy's trial might be the spark, but what comes next? It could be the full explosion. We'll be watching every single move from here. And if you want more raw truth, no sugarcoating, and straight up receipts, you already know what to do. Hit that like button and stay locked in for the next drop. Now let's be honest. If Usher really knew all this was happening and still stayed quiet, that's nasty work. Because by now, people are convinced there is way more dirt under that rug. Rumors are flying that Usher wasn't just silent. He might have been benefiting from staying in Diddy's circle. Think about it. Fame, protection, money, all at the cost of his soul. And the more we hear, the darker it gets. Another clip popped up where Usher is joking about waking up in bed with Diddy. At first, people thought he was just playing around. But now, that joke doesn't sound so funny anymore. Especially when you consider all the stuff that's come out. Every laugh, every smirk, suddenly feels like a red flag in disguise. Let's not forget the new lawsuit that's shaking things up even more. The one accusing Diddy of running a full-blown trafficking operation with big names allegedly involved, like Usher's name that keeps popping up in the conversations, not because he is confirmed to have done something, but because he was there, always there. And now the world wants answers. It's giving survivors guilt, mixed with self-preservation, and maybe a little fear, because when you are that close to the fire, you either burn or you learn how to disappear. And for years, Usher disappeared into the background, smiling for cameras, collecting awards, and dodging every bullet. But now the bullets are flying in every direction and silence won't save him. The truth is, people don't want polished statements anymore. They want the raw truth. They want Usher to sit down and lay it all out. What he saw, what he heard, what he stayed silent about. Because if he were innocent, now is the time to prove it, and if he is not, then the clock is ticking. What do you think? Is Usher finally ready to speak, or is Justin still covering up the truth? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button if you are watching the dominoes fall, and stay tuned. With Diddy in the mix, it's only getting messier.